won't spend long, but I do have to make something incredibly clear to you. In our world, I like to call it the point of emphasis. P-O-E, point of emphasis. If I gave you this lovely number here, 78.39, or 78 and 39 what? Hundredths, thank you very much for the thousand, but it's not quite thousands yet, 2 decimal places. And I asked you, number one, letter A, if I asked you to round to the whole number, what would my answer be? What is that bad boy rounded to the nearest whole number? Are those Merlin Butler?
Launch into fitness for 8th graders, I think.
And we have been fit. Thank you for doing that, Mrs. Meyer. What is 78.39 rounded to the nearest whole number? Andrew?
78.
78. Okay, so your answer to this is 78. Why did you know it was 78, Andrew? Why wasn't it 79?
Because 39 is close to 2.
Huh?
I mean, it's not above 50 years.
Okay. Or really, when you look at this, the only number that matters is the number right after the one you're rounding. Since this was a 3, okay, that's less than 5, so this stays the same. It was greater than 5. Now, let me change that. I think you already got that. If I said round to the tenths, for the nearest tenth, what would that be rounded to the nearest tenth? And here comes the dramatic point of emphasis here. Rounded to the nearest tenth, what would that be? Trevor.
78.
Give me the digits, sir. 7, 8, point. What's that?
4.
0.4, and that is correct. 78.4. Now, why is it 4? What tells me, Colin, it's 4?
Because in the 100th place it's 9, and 9 is closer to 10 than 0.
Right. And here's the deal with that. Okay. This time I wasn't rounding to the nearest whole number. I was rounding to the nearest 10. So the number I look at actually is this 9. Because that is 5 or greater, this became a 4. Here is my POE. Repeat after me, point of emphasis. One more time, just to emphasize it. Well, that was a little softer, louder.
Point of emphasis.
Okay. Here is what you must understand to the nth degree here. If I am rounding to the nearest tenth, in my answer, I'm only allowed to have my last digit must be in the tenths place. And what I mean is you cannot have 78.40. That is not acceptable. Even though it is the same number, technically, and it means the same thing. If you are rounding to the nearest tenth, your last digit must be in that tenth place. For the simple reason of this. How do I say this number? 78 and 4/10. If I put a 0 on there, I don't say that anymore. Now I say 78 and 40 hundredths. And that's not what I want. I want only tenths. So do not add zeros at the end of decimals. That's my point of emphasis. Okay? And which is confusing because if I said you had 786 and I asked you to round that to the nearest 100, well, what do? You put 8 and then you change those to zeros. Well, that's whole numbers, and whole numbers are different than decimals. Decimals, we don't go any farther than the number we're rounding, unless you're whoever. Was that emphasized to you? Anything?
Yeah.
I don't know if it was. One person says yes. 2 people say no. All right, now for the new stuff. As we take a deep breath. Still under decimals. Good for us. This will be quick too. Now the book just calls us decimals through 10,000ths. Let's look at a number that has that. Let's say I've got 62.493. What place is this? Thousandths, right? So then here, this is the 10,000ths place. 10,000ths place. And let me once again re-emphasize, children, how small something in the 10,000ths place is. How small that is. How much is a 10,000th of a dollar? Which we don't have, but if we did have a coin, it would take 10,000 of them to make a dollar. Which if you went to the store and something was $1 and you paid for it in the 10,000th coin, you'd have to have 10,000 of them. How small is that? Well, it would take, if we had a coin that was 10,000, it would take 100 of them to make up 1 penny. How much is a 10,000th of a piece of paper? If I asked you to take this and split that into 10,000 pieces, it's no bigger than a speck, really. You know, I think we did tenths. Wait. This is kind of a tenth, and we cut that in 10 pieces. That's kind of a hundredth. Cut that into 10 pieces. I guess that's about. This is about 1,000th of it, and then I have to cut that. I know, and then I have to cut that into, about. I can't even do it. I mean, it would be no bigger really than this. Maybe than that dot right there would be about a 10,000th of a piece of paper. That is how small that is. So if you are given something, let's see. Here's an example. Write 0.425 as a. Is that what it asked me for? Yeah. As a fraction. I just want you to see this. How do I write 0.425 as a fraction? It's really a lot easier than those of you who said, well, how do I do that? Simply, all you have to do is read that number. Marilyn, what is that number read out as a decimal? It is 425,000. So guess what it is as a fraction? 425,000. They don't show reducing it. So I would say if it's a big thing like that, no, you don't have to reduce it. They just ask for what that was as a fraction. Or if you're asked to compare this, compare 4.5 to 4.456. 4.5 to 4.456. If I asked you to compare that, which one is bigger? And why? Jordan, show which one's bigger and why.
4.56.
I don't have a 4.56 up there. I have 4.456. Is bigger? Why?
Because it's no, never mind. 4.5 because you can add as much as zeros.
Thank you very much. You can always put zeros at the end of decimals, which would make this, if I put the same number of digits after the decimal there, 4.500 compared to 4.56, 500 is bigger than 456, so this is bigger than that. So be careful when you do those. Make sure you have the same number.